and welcome. This is the Fresh Start Podcast. I'm Dave Henning, and we are very excited to have this young lady with us right here, my good friend from Vancouver up in the North Country, Deb Drummond. Welcome, Deb.
Oh my gosh, so excited. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. And the great part is it's all about the music. So let's first of all, I think our fans and listeners and viewers need to know that you are what we call an ultrapreneur. You have started, I don't know, at least 7 or 8, 10, 12 companies, been very successful. You've been on stage worldwide, training and motivational speaking and so forth. So with all that said, you definitely fit the qualifications to talk about music. and our good friend Janis Joplin. So here we are.
You know what? I got to say, a good friend of mine, we went to go see Jan Arden. And if you're in Canada, you may know that name a lot more than others. So went to see Jan Arden on my birthday, which was December 18th. And she's like, here's your birthday present. I'm like, sweet. And I open it up and it is a Janis Joplin cup with a super cool quote on the inside by her saying, I'm one of those weird regular people. And I'm like, good on you. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that fits that. Me too. Hey, I fit right in that
Me
category.
too, right?
So we are going to talk today specifically about Ireland. Come to find out in doing that DNA testing that I actually have ancestors in Donegal, Ireland, as well as I'm a mutt basically when it comes to my.
I think we all are.
Combination of this and that and the other thing. So all that to say, why did you do it to her? We're talking today about the we did it or.
Well, no, we're going to be able to say we did it, but it's called the unforgettable. The unforgettable. They did it to her. 2 women walking and rocking, and what everyone's calling it is. They did it to her. So it's they did it to her. That's yay. They did it to her Facebook group. It's they did it to her because we're talking like they did it. Oh my God, they did it. Can you believe they did it? Yeah.
Well, how did that all start? Tell me about that, Deb.
Oh my gosh. You know what? It was not planned. I mean, just so people know what they did it is, what it is that we are going to be doing. It's basically myself and a girlfriend who are not marathoners. We're not even, I'm not going to say we're not gym enthusiasts, but let's just say that exercise is, is something that we do because we know we need to, but not certainly because we can't do anything or don't want to do anything else. And we are basically walking across from Doolin to Galway because, you can't do a walking tour for music in Ireland and not hit Galway. I mean, I'm thinking Ed Sheeran needs to show up or U2 and they need to sing Galway Girl. And someone's got to sing it other than me. That's what the people are hoping. So from Doolin to Galway, and then we're going to go from Galway to the Cliffs of Moher, which is, in my opinion, one of the most gorgeous pieces of, God's nature that's ever been created. And we're going to walk across this 8.5 marathons in 8 days. We're going to be there in August of 2023 doing 1 marathon and doing some PR and media and talking to radio and peeps. And hopefully we have some events planned there. And then we go back on June 2024 and we start the walk on 16th, which ironically is Father's Day that year. And it will end 8 days later. So how that started, Dave, was honestly about 1.5 years ago. I was walking across the bridge. The bridge, if you live in Vancouver, Canada, it's a gorgeous bridge called the Bird Street Bridge. And I was going over to meet my girlfriend to go for a walk because weren't we all 1.5 years ago just walking outside a lot? And I was walking. I mean, anything. I was racing to go meet her because, I was running late and she likes to start on time. So I was like getting a little panicked. And I was walking across the bridge. And all of a sudden, out of my left ear, literally, I'm just walking on this path. I hear the words, "It's time" scream so loud that I looked to see if someone was there. No one was there. And in a nanosecond, I was like, I need to do a marathon and donate the money to charity. I mean, it's not a normal thought, Dave. I'm one of those Janis Joplin weird normal people. And then I instantly said, okay, I'm going to donate the money to Amnesty International, which is, a big organization that I believe in. And I've done a lot of music stuff for them, supporting people in the music industry, coming to concerts. And I will donate the rest to the, a Canadian Music Association. Didn't give it another thought, walked across the bridge, met my girlfriend and said to her, get the friggin' this. I did literally look up in the sky, and say, are you kidding me? Like, I don't have time for this. I mean, you just finished saying I've run 7 companies. My son's launching his company for his first one. I mean, I don't have time for this. And then, so I thought, okay, I know some friends, they can just throw me some money. I'll go to Ireland and I'll walk a marathon because I know Ireland quite well, and I'll call it a day. So I call Amnesty because I'm a member. And so, I call them and I say to them, I'm like, okay, I'm going to donate the money to you guys. And this is the Irish contingency. And they're like, well, if you're going to be sponsored at all, like if anyone's going to, like, a company's going to support you, we can't take the money. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Really?
Right. So they said that they couldn't take the money. I said, look, I'll worry about you guys later, and decided at that point, all the money would go to the music industry. And it started in, honestly, I still was going to be just a marathon. My friends donating some money. 2 days later, I'm driving back with my girlfriend, who's also a Celt. She's Scottish. We're driving back from my daughter's, which is an hour and a half drive. And I said to her, now, I'll be very transparent. I am geographically challenged. And I know that people probably don't know geographically challenged people, but I cannot, like if someone says, like it's a mile down the road, I don't know what that is. Like, I just can't do that. I don't know. It's maybe there's a special class for us. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to do this marathon. It's, and I did a marathon 18 years ago. That's when I said, oh, I'll walk from Dublin to Galway to the cliffs, and that should be about right. My girlfriend's like, oh, you're going to do that? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, I'll do it with you. I was like, straight up? She's like, straight up. I'm like, okay. Then I said, maybe we should take a look at how far this is. And when we first looked at it, she made the mathematical error. She goes, I think it's 10 marathons. So I go, oh, 10 marathons in 10 days. She goes, okay. I go, what? She's like, game on. I'm like, okay, freaking game on. Now what we do now, it's 8.5 marathons. And so now we're doing 8.5 marathons in 8 days. But that's the long-winded story and tale. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I actually wrote this down because it's on my my Fresh Start Radio channel when I'm playing music over there. I think music itself is healing. It's an explosive expression of humanity. No matter what culture you are from, everyone loves music. Billy Joel.
Oh, you're going to have to send that to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, believe it or not, on Sunday mornings where I run the sound system at our little jungle church down here in Costa Rica, we always start off with Bruce Springsteen.
I love
at church, This Little Light of Mine.
Oh.
So your light is shining, and somebody from up above spoke into your ear and said, it's time. Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with that kind of a situation when you just know that you know that you know that I'm supposed to do something. Yes, God, I'm listening now.
I know. I just finished getting off a call because I've got 2 big projects, right? One's a big speaking event and one is Ireland. And I said, I know the name of my next book. And they're like, really? I said, it's clear as day. It's hashtag pick on somebody else. It's a book that I'm writing to God. After this event, I'll be like, somebody else.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you have with 8.5 marathons in a row. I hope that there are some pubs along the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our goal is to do, just over a marathon each day and then go support a local pub, right? Like we got to make this, it's going to be a pub crawl. And of course we're looking for sponsorship. So we're thinking there's got to be a whiskey or a beer company step up, Jameson, Guinness, if you're listening. So, obviously we are just starting with our crowdfunding page because this kind of project doesn't go under, this is a big deal. Like there's, websites, and we need, people to be driving that with us, and social media and cameras and a medic and, flights and places to lodge and everything that it's going to take. I mean, the mission is pretty grand. And then there's 3 charities that we're funneling the money into. So yeah, it's a pretty big quest and lots of moving parts.
I love the website that you built for this. Theydidittour.ca, and you've got a lot of cool stuff on there, including Cyndi Lauper is pictured there. Is that Alicia Keys.
Yeah, so Alicia Keys has an organization called She Is the Music. She's not the only one that's, it's her baby, and then there's you'll see on there the other people that are supporting it. And Cindy did one of her events in support, and so it's called She Is the Music. It is specifically a global tap in for anyone that was. So she was the global piece to this project. Super grateful for them to be on board, and so you can get funding, you can get mentorship, you can get education. It's really about highlighting women in the music industry. Unfortunately, only 2% or 2.6% of all music composed that gets airtime is women, 12% songwriting. So there, it's not where it needs to be, and a lot of times it's difficult for women to have access to like behind the glass learning. And so they've got all sorts of programs and mentorship across the world. So that's one of the charities we're supporting. The other one is Unison in Canada. And just to say out there, we are looking for one for Ireland. So we're kind of going through that vetting right now. So if anyone knows of a music charity in Ireland that needs support, let us know. But in Canada, it's Unison. And Unison is more of it's a charity that we didn't want to just say like singers or, like people on the stage. Like it needed to be anyone in the music industry. Like you own a record store, get your stuff up on, we've got a Facebook group. You can put your stuff on, like anyone to do with anything. They did it to our Facebook group. Just join it and put your stuff up there. It's free. It's going to run way past this event. But in Unison, they give funds and support and counseling and therapy to people in the music industry that have kind of hit some hard times. Like you've hit an illness and can't pay your rent. You need some counseling. You need some support, all sorts of things on the Unison. Their stats are pretty scary too, right? 75 to 85% of all musicians can't pay their rent. This is, when we think of music, that was one of the things behind it. People are like, what do you do? Like I just shot a video because people kept saying, well, what are you doing? What do you mean the music industry? And I'm like, when's the last time you bought an album, dude? It's the last time you bought an album. And I don't even want to tell you what Spotify pays, right? So even if you're lucky enough to get on Spotify, your 0.034 cents isn't going to pay the bills. And music is given so freely. You can listen to it free for the rest of your life. But people produce that. That's their craft, right? So I think it's time to give back to something that's happy, happy, joy, joy. Like music is happy, happy, joy, joy. That's what you just said in that statement, is that anywhere around the world, it helps people get out of anything, like from depression to sadness. When you ask people, music, oh, my wedding song. Oh, when my baby was born, this song. Oh, when I had this experience. Oh, I remember that. Oh my gosh, remember when we did that? And it's all based on musical memory. So I'm ranting, Dave. Tell me to stop talking.
No, you hit the nail on the head there, because I was actually when I was living in California, I went to see Cyndi Lauper with Rod Stewart, and so
there's a theme.
So there's your clue for today. Get a hold of Rod Stewart. He owns a soccer team over there, and he could jump right in on this deal. Probably one of your sponsors. What do you think?
I think so. I think, Rod, you need to give me a call.
Yeah.
Rod, give me a call. Thank you, universe.
Well, what do you hope to accomplish with this thing, really? You mentioned some of it, but the support is, so far you've mentioned some really intriguing and deep things that cover, like you say. I think when Motown moved to California and left all those musicians, the Funk Brothers, back in Detroit, and all those guys were like old men, and all those songs, My Girl and all that, as well as the great, fantastic Motown female singers. Mm-hmm. But you're absolutely right. Way back when, the artists and the performers got next to nothing.
Yeah.
I know that when Joe Cocker went on tour for the Mad Dogs and Englishmen with what's his name from Oklahoma, they had such a big band that Joe Cocker didn't make a penny off of that tour. So
yeah, absolutely right. So here's what we hope to. So first of all, I think that I have to be very transparent, and it's like people are like, "Why are you doing this?" This has been going on for a year and a half. It's taken up time in my life, and obviously, I've been self-funding the whole thing. Yeah. People are like, "Why?" And I'm like, I got to be honest. It's because I kind of got told to. I'm really at 58 years old, just doing what I'm being told. And I'm letting people come into, my world and experiences. And I still feel this same responsibility to complete this project no matter what happens. And trust me, there's been things that have happened, right? In my personal life and, things that have happened. We've had the world have things happen, We were supposed to walk earlier, but Ukraine happened and we pushed it because we wanted people to be able to just settle, have some peace. And so I'm just doing what I'm being told. That's one thing. The second thing is I've listened to music my whole life. It was a major healer for me during years and teenage years and latter years where I needed to, dig down and do what I call my work. And it was just such a healing aspect for me. So I have always had a calling, that around music. I used to play the organ for my grandmother, Amazing Grace, and I was raised on music, and I've seen what it's done for people. The other thing is I think it's like, I also do think that the world, as much as we could donate this money to all sorts of organizations that need it, like, world peace and, there's many diseases that people have had experiences with, whether it's heart disease or breast cancer or any kind of cancer or kidney or multiple sclerosis, all of those charities need it. I really believe that the message came through to donate to something that gives that happy, joy feeling. And I think that people don't recognize that this industry is really the arts, and that we know that the arts gets underfunded, and that music is given so freely that every once in a while you got to stop and you got to give back to source. And I believe that music has been a source for people to have joy and to get through things, particularly this last 3 years. And this industry had got their butt kicked. Anyone that stood on stage and made their money from that got their butt kicked. And you can, you can get free music everywhere. So I think that there's many different things, but I think the most important reason why I got divinely told music is because there's been a lot of division in the world in the last 3 years. And I'll tell you what, music doesn't care what color your skin is, doesn't care what gender you are, doesn't care what age you are, doesn't care if you're vaccinated, not vaccinated, doesn't care who you vote for, who you don't vote for, doesn't care if you believe in this or you believe in that, doesn't care. Like, it doesn't care. It gives to everybody. And it's the one thing I think about these songs, like We Are the World, and with that other one, like, Is It Christmas Everywhere? Like, when I think of those songs that actually people, when they hear them, their body tingles no matter where they are and they feel worldly unified. That's how I want them to feel about this. Like, we're going to impact as many people as we can. And that'll continue to go on. Gosh, the woman who I'm walking with, she's like, we should do this every year. I'm like, just get through 8 marathons and let's talk. But
right.
You know what I mean? But I'm not adverse to it. I just think people need to stop and realize and recognize that something that they receive, it's time to give back.
Absolutely, that's right. So I'm just curious whether is it possible, or maybe you've already thought of this kind of thing, of, as you mentioned, kind of having some local concerts interspersed along the way somehow. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think when it comes to we've done as much as we can with one project manager, and now she's off on another project, and we're in the works of another person coming in and to help with the sponsorship piece, because we need money to be able to do any of that.
Sure.
And so what we'd love to see is, in the course of these 8.5 marathons in Ireland, being able to support a band at a pub at the end of each night, or inviting people and musical people and other music people to come along and show up while we're doing the tour. There's got to be something at that grand finale at the Cliffs of Moher when we cross that finish line. And having all of those bands take advantage of all the PR and media that's going to be happening. I mean, we have to have people on that tour with us that are Snapchatting and, tweeting and Facebooking and Instagramming the whole process through. And of course, on the website that you mentioned, they did at tour.ca, there will be updates regularly going on up there. And same as the Facebook group, live video, and everybody will be able to watch it. So we expect that. We do expect to make some plans Once the sponsorship kicks off, because sponsors may want to participate in that, in creating an event. When we go to August 2023 and when we go to Ireland in August, we're hoping that there's at least one, if not two, major band event fundraising experiences. And then anyone that's smart, they'll tap onto this. They'll jump on that group, or they'll call us and say, hey, we'd love to do a song here. I mean, whoever wants to get on top of the exposure. But absolutely, events are part of it. We just need to lay down some fundamentals.
Sure, absolutely. I keep thinking back to Ed Sheeran, of course.
Right?
What a voice. Eddie, come on, Eddie.
You too as well, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Well, you too is actually one of the nominees on the Kennedy Center Awards that's coming on live on CBS in a couple of weeks. As well as some other contemporary Christian people are singing on that, and my friend George Clooney is going to be on it. But all that to say, I'm thinking this is a documentary, and that's another whole thing. As you know, as a big Woodstock fan, like I was at 17 years old. They literally lost their shirt financially, but came back with a couple of documentaries, and I mean, there's so much happened there that needed to be known, that this is what happened, this is what did not happen, and I think what you are doing would be speaking of which, Andrea Bocelli just did a Christmas concert where he's walking with his horses. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on some network. It's fantastic.
Well, I think I think I got an email that someone sent it to me. Was it his family message, like the Christmas one? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That and I didn't realize this. He's a great horseback rider as a blind adult, but they filmed it with other singers, Michael W. Smith and some other people. And he's outside in Italy walking over these beautiful hills. And I'm, as you know, Ireland is absolutely gorgeous, which is why I mostly wear my dark green shirts because it's my favorite color. So all that to say, you've expressed a little bit of what music means to you. You go on.
No. I was going to say that, we're dark green color. The first car I had, 1962 Comet, I did a duo green. Of course, I love it. It's so I was gonna talk a little bit about when you were saying how Bocelli and I really, and the documentary and all of that. I'm probably putting it together by pictures and writing and that kind of thing right now. I've been told, I have a media company that publishes books. And so for sure, this is going to be, because it's been a real journey. It has been a journey. I think that'll be a personal book, the journey, and then everything that this has entailed from complete. And I remember now I can write, but I wanted to bring in someone who can ghost write as well, who can write it in a way other than my voice at times that's needed. And we were having this conversation and she said, I think the real story to this, at least for the book, maybe not the documentary, is that you just kept listening. There's so many times that people could have just went, oh my gosh, this happened, or so many times. I think that it's going to be an interesting book. The documentary, I've had many, many people say this needs to be a documentary. And I think what we're going to need to do that is a crowdfunding page because it does. I agree with you. Even if this turns into something where it's happening every year, this inaugural experience of laying this track, and really, what laying track is, it's almost like building a song, is I think it is really important, or I don't think I would have been told it. If this wasn't meant to be bigger, and I'm not saying this is a Woodstock impression, but even though Woodstock made no money, Woodstock to this day has changed people's lives and continues. Even when you say the word Woodstock, people get that vision of music and its grandeur, of people feeling free, little anarchy, I think that's important.
It is absolutely important. So I tend to get the big vision for things as well. And what's essential, what's possible. I just interviewed, after interviewing my friend John Galena, the founder of Purple Heart Homes USA, a veteran who came back and works on disabled veterans' homes all the way from World War II to the present. And so I was looking at his Facebook page, and lo and behold, he got called on a project that was being done not far from him in North Carolina, across the border in South Carolina, by the Lifetime Network. So he was asked to be on the, who knew it, but he had, I interviewed him 11 years ago after he made the cover of Time magazine, a bunch with some other veterans. And so I says, John, we got to stop meeting. We can't wait another 11 years. So I just interviewed him last week, but he just came down to Puerto Rico because he found a group of retired veterans in Puerto Rico. So all that to say, it's time. It's time for the They Did It Tour.ca, and I would encourage all of our listeners and friends to be sure to go there, sign up for, get your name on the newsletter and get your information current, keep up with what's happening. And what's that 6 degrees of separation deal? Like, I know you, you know me, I know somebody else, and
absolutely. And on that website is also, they can go right to the crowdfunding page if they're inspired. There's different things that we've got there that if they donate a certain amount of money that they can get. Sometimes people want to donate. Now, I think this is really interesting. It's not on there. It's more like when people talk to us privately, but say there's someone that you love kindly and dearly that's here or has passed over. We can walk a marathon in their name. We can walk a mile in their name. We can walk with their name on our arm, on our back, on our shirt, on our this. Yeah. And it's also a great opportunity for companies. Like, yes. Look, you got 2 women in their 50s hoofing across a country. It's community, it's building, it's music, it's health, it's wellness. At the core of this is gumption. Like, that's really, truly at the core. It's like getting a vision and going all the way, maybe even going past all the way, right? But there's many companies that we're willing to have goodness platform off what we're doing. I mean, I don't think we were told to do this for ourselves.
No, of course not.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't just need sponsorship to keep this event going, but we're open to helping people bounce off that. But I think that you're exactly right. There's people that are listening, and if people want to participate or they want to have that experience, I mean, honestly, if someone else was doing it, I would be donating part of their walk in the name of. I think it's the coolest thing, and you can even give people that certificate. The marathon on day 5 is going to be done in your name, the first quarter, whatever it is, right? Yeah.
I think of the visual. Do you ever skip stones across the water?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you know what happens when you skip a stone? That starts a wave, a ripple effect. And that's what we're here to create today, is this ripple effect about some of the things we thought of that may or may not happen, but nevertheless, the idea and the vision of It's Time Now, They Did It Tour.ca, it's going to ripple across the things that you and I never even imagined would happen as a result of this, taking the time to make this known to the world today. And so that's what I'm excited about for you. And it motivates me to see what connections I can drum up. That
I love it. Nice there.
Yeah.
Drum it up. My favorite Christmas movie, Little Drummer Boy.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. Well, I'm speaking with Deb Drummond, and it's time for me to pronounce your name correctly. Number one.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and we want to get the word out, so be sure to get to the website. Look at all of. There's a lot of different tabs on there. I was searching all over the place, and believe it or not, Deb, about an hour and a half ago, my internet completely went out, and I was like I like to do, freaking out, and made some phone calls, got everything back up, and my prayer was that the internet would stay on for this time, and it has. So here, answers to prayer all the time. And so that's what we do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say thank you so much. Not only is this the second time I've been on your show? Thank you kindly. You are a plethora of music information. I come on your show and I leave going, okay, guess what? Da, 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 da. And I'm looking up people and learning more. Like, you are such a diehard for the power of music. You're lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Great to have you here. I was speaking with Deb Drummond. Be sure to check out the website. And we appreciate you, Deb. And we're going to just